You're listening to the micro version of the Savage Lovecast at savage.love.
If you're stuck in a relationship quandary, or if you're looking for sexual harmony, well, there's nothing you can't ask on the Savage Lovecast.
Hey everybody, I'm away. I'm on vacation. I am in a magical place, a wonderful place, a beautiful place, a place made even more wondrous and even more beautiful by its complete lack of access to the internet. If you follow me on social media, you may have missed my pithy observations. If so, forgive me for going away. If you haven't missed my pithy observations, you're going to have to forgive me for coming back, which I'll be doing soon. Not quite yet. My little digital detox vacation here isn't quite over, but I am breaking radio silence today, jumping online to record this intro for the show, and then jumping right back off. Only jumping online because I have a very important announcement to make. So important. I'm going to borrow a world historical phrase here from our current vice president. We did it, Joe. The we in this instance refers not just to my readers and listeners, but to every woman out there who has ever fucked a man in the ass with a strap-on dildo. And I'm guessing at least one of those guys was named Joe. So we did it, Joe. Cue the celebratory music, Nancy. Give me something upbeat. Okay, that's July 4th music, I realize, but it was handy, and for all we know, this last July 4th was our last July 4th, so we're going to use Stars and Stripes forever here because it's in the public domain, and it's a banger, and it may be homeless soon. All right, here is the big announcement. Pegging, as defined by Savage Love readers in 2001, a woman fucking a man in the ass with a strap-on dildo, pegging, our definition, has officially made it into the Oxford English Dictionary. The Oxford English Dictionary, the OED for short, published by the Oxford University Press, runs to more than 20 volumes. It is the Bible. It is, quoting from their website here, the unsurpassed guide to the meaning, history, and usage of 500,000 words and phrases, past and present, from across the English-speaking world. And one of those words now, when you search pegging in the OED, you will find listed there with the words other, various, and, come on now, far less entertaining meanings. Pegging, the actions of a peg from 1611, pegging, the materials of which pegs are made from 1890, pegging, the playing of mumbledy-peg from 1932. Along with those boring definitions, you will now find this. Pegging, noun, sexual activity in which a person, typically a woman, penetrates the anus of a sexual partner, typically a man, using a strap-on dildo. The OED dates this new meaning to 2001 and links back to the 23-year-old Savage Love column where my readers chose, after a free and fair election, remember those? My readers chose a word to define the act of a woman fucking a man in the ass with a strap-on dildo, and they chose, you chose, pegging. Some other pegging-related terms that aren't dirty at all, but sound dirty sitting next to our definition of pegging. Pegging jack, pegging machine, pegging rammer, pegging tent, pegging top. All right, to be in the OED, to be cited in the OED, to have a citation in the OED has been a dream of mine since I first realized we had a talent. You and me, listeners and readers, we had a collective talent for coming up with words to describe things that needed naming. And I love how the OED makes it clear in their definition that the term pegging, when used to refer to the sexual activity, no longer exclusively means a woman fucking a man in the ass with a strap-on dildo. Language is a living thing, and meaning follows use, and people now use pegging to refer to someone, anyone at all, fucking someone else, anyone else at all, in the ass with a strap-on dildo. Oh my God, I am so ecstatic right now. I would like to thank the Academy or whatever, or whoever it is at the OED, the editors at the OED who make these additions to this dictionary. I would like to thank my readers and listeners again, of course, always. And I would like to thank all of the perverts out there who were enjoying this thing with the unwieldy name, someone fucking someone else in the ass with a strap-on dildo, who embraced and popularized the term pegging. My apologies again and always to my Aunt Peg, who wasn't thrilled in 2001 when that column came out, a column now cited in the OED, and probably won't be too happy about today's news either. All right, coming up on today's show, tons of your Qs, lots of my As, and joining me on the Magnum Lovecast, the great Andy Richter, comedian, writer, actor. He's here to talk about his new podcast, The Three Questions, and to try his hand or his mouth at giving a little sex advice. If you enjoy the Micro Lovecast and you listen every week, thank you for listening. We love you. But if you want more Lovecast and lots of other bonus content, become a Magnum subscriber today by going to savage.love and clicking on subscribe. All right, I am going to return to my book and this beach. Terry is actually going to be the one who uploads this intro and gets it to Nancy so she can drop it into the show so that I am not tempted to get online and find out where Hurricane Beryl went or who the Democratic nominee for president is today. Nancy will be handling end of show duties this week, but I will be back rested and ready and cited in the OED next week. All right, on to your questions.
This episode of the Lovecast is brought to you by the good folks at Squarespace. They make it easy to build a beautiful website, blog, or online store. Head on over to squarespace.com/savage for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code SAVAGE to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
This episode is brought to you by Helix Sleep, the very best mattress designed with your comfort in mind. Get up to 30% off a mattress purchase plus 2 free pillows at helixsleep.com/savage. Support for today's show, support we are very grateful for, comes from Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you can access all the amazing services of the post office right from your desk in your own home, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just click, print, mail, and you are done. It could not be easier. And right now, use Savage for this special offer. Includes up to $55 worth of free postage, a digital scale, and a 4-week trial. Do not wait. Go to Stamps.com, and before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Savage. That's Stamps.com. Enter SAVAGE.
Hi, Dan, Nancy, and the tech-savvy at-risk youth. A friend of mine texted my husband and me that she received a proposition from somebody at a sushi bar. A gentleman dropped his beer and phone and $100 next to her, walked away, and on his phone was written the words to the effect of, I'm not too forward, but could you spit into my beer and I'll give you this $100? She took a photo of it and sent it to us asking what she should do. And we debated back and forth. And within enough time, the guy came back, took his beer, his phone, and his $100. Obviously, she did not spit into it. But is this legal for her to do or for him to do? Is this something that is allowed? I don't know. Can you give us some advice? Thanks.
Is it allowed? We live in America where we are free to do sometimes incredibly creepy things that might make somebody feel uncomfortable, that might, if we talk to the bouncer at the sushi bar, get them bounced, something so odd and off the wall that we might take a photo and send it to our gay friends asking for a reality check or a vibe check. Look, it's not that this isn't creepy, weird behavior that someone would very likely experience as unwelcome or even intimidating or threatening. It is all of those things. The question you asked, though, is it illegal? And no, I don't think this is specifically illegal. I do not think there are any laws against leaving a beer and a phone and $100 bill on the bar and walking away and hoping while you're in the bathroom that the person sitting next to your phone is going to read what you left open on your phone and you will return to a loogie in your beer. I don't think that's specifically against the law. It definitely falls under the header of creepy fucking behavior. Also, like, people want what they want, and if this was the extent of it, if there wasn't going to be any escalation, and clearly the guy took no for an answer. He came back, there wasn't spit in his beer, the $100 bill was sitting there, and he picked it up and he left, and he didn't continue to pester your friend. I'm not saying that he was a gentleman. Clearly wasn't, but I don't think he's a dangerous predator. And what did your friend get out of this? Well, she got a great photo to share with her gay friends, and she got a story to tell about a new and unexpected way that straight men existing out in the world can be very fucking creepy. But no, not against the law. And I'm not a woman. Women experience these sorts of things very differently because creepy men are coming at them all their lives. And so my reaction to it isn't going to be informed by that history of having to bat away the unwelcome and unwanted sexual attention or advances or creepiness of men all my life. But I would have spit in the beer. For sure, I would have spit in the beer and taken the $100. Absolutely. But your friend didn't, and she didn't have to, and he didn't ask again. So, yeah, total fucking creep, but total fucking creep who was willing to take no for an answer, pick up his phone and his beer, and fuck the fuck off. So he gets some small share, measure, iota of credit, at least for that.
Hey Dan, I am a late 20s, mostly straight woman living in the Southeast. I am in a relationship with a man that is pretty new, but by nature of being long distance, more serious already than it probably would be otherwise. I spend a week with him once a month. We do that because it's been established that I'll be moving to where he lives instead of the other way around, both because he doesn't want to leave and I don't like where I live currently. Anyway, he has a very close female friend who he hasn't actually told me hardly anything about. I've just gathered from context clues that they're basically best friends. She came into town yesterday and he didn't mention it until the night before, and then she stayed the night at his house, which again, I just had to figure out through context clues, not because he decided to explicitly talk to me about it. Now, I think that this is normal probably for her to stay with him when she comes through town, and I'm not actually concerned anything is going on between them. My question is, should I talk with him about the fact that it's typically customary to maybe inform your partner if you're having a house guest of the opposite sex, like as more of a general conversation about communication? I would prefer not to find out the hard way that he thinks it's okay to just have whatever women staying overnight with him and not mentioning it to me. Or is this like a weird straight person thing and I just need to get a grip?
You seem to be operating under an assumption here, the assumption being that your boyfriend isn't sleeping with anyone else. And that is your concern. Your concern isn't just he's violating a rule of etiquette that a gentleman doesn't have overnight guests of the opposite sex when he is dating someone, but that this woman is coming over, and how is their relationship defined? What is their relationship about? Are they friends? And you say you've inferred that they're just friends from context clues, but are they friends with benefits? Is he dating more than one person? It doesn't sound like you have a relationship with him where you can speak freely or you feel comfortable using your words or asking him to clarify things. And the clarification that you need right now is, are you in a sexually exclusive relationship? You seem to be operating under the assumption that you are. He may be operating under a very different set of assumptions here, and you two need to get onto the same page. The risk when you initiate this conversation is that you will discover that you assumed that it was a monogamous, exclusive sexual relationship, and because it was never said out loud, he assumed it wasn't, maybe rationalized that it wasn't, maybe allowed you to assume something that was reasonable, and that was manipulative of him to allow you to make that assumption without clarifying. You need to have a conversation with your boyfriend about who this woman is. You know, she comes, she spends the night, she stays overnight. Maybe she's a really close friend or an ex, and she crashes with him and she appreciates having this place to stay, and there's no fucking. Even then, if you wanted to fuck other women, you're gone 3 weeks out of the month. You say you're thinking about moving to live with him. You need to get on the same page. You get clarity about what it is that you're moving there for when you get there. Again, is it a sexually exclusive relationship? I don't know. Is this a friendship or something more? I don't know. The only person who knows the answers to these questions are your boyfriend. And you need to stop making assumptions about what your relationship means and what it entails and who you are to each other, and risk saying this shit out loud. And the reason why you haven't risked saying this shit out loud is you're afraid that it'll derail the relationship. You're afraid that you might not, it may be an unconscious fear, subconscious fear, that you may discover when you have this conversation that your assumptions and his assumptions are very different and irreconcilable. And it may result in the relationship ending. But if he doesn't want what you want, the relationship needs to end. So it is a risky conversation and one you can no longer avoid having. This episode is brought to you by Helix Sleep, makers of the best mattress in the world, also known as my favorite place, my mattress, where I wish I was right now and will be soon. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and the Helix Kids mattress, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep experts. To figure out the best mattress for you, go take the Helix Sleep quiz online. Just takes a couple of minutes. Your personalized mattress will be shipped straight to your door, free of charge. And for peace of mind, Helix offers a 100-night trial so you can try out your new Helix mattress and a 10 to 15-year warranty. Terry and I love our Midnight Luxe mattress because it is big enough to accommodate both of us, also big enough to accommodate very special guest stars, and that mattress can handle everything and everyone we throw at it. And when it's time to sleep, it is by far the most comfortable mattress we've ever slept on. Helix is offering up to 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/savage. That's helixsleep.com/savage. 30% off. This is their best offer yet. It won't last long. Go get that new mattress, because with Helix, better sleep starts now.
Hey, Dan, I have a bit of a potential moral quandary for you to consider. I was watching a porn recently, and the situation was that there was this, school administrator who had the authority to allow children either to come to the school or not. And one of the children's moms came to his office to try to get him, to bribe him to let her son into school. And then, he refuses money, and then it gets to a sexual thing where she offers to, basically trade sex for him to get her son into school. And they agree, and they have sex. And then in the end, he says, it turns out he's the janitor, not actually the administrator. He was just in the administrator's office. So, and that's the end, right? So I was wondering, is that technically a form of, I guess, sexual assault, in that they had sex under false pretenses? She gave her consent to have sex with him on the basis of him saying, that he would get her son into school, but then he had no intention or capability of doing that. Or is it the fact that she was trying to manipulate the system in the first place by trading sex for this favor? Does that basically make them morally, sort of washed, where it's both of them were trying to manipulate each other and sort of taking advantage of positions of authority or perceived authority? I don't know. What do you think?
Hello there, frequent flyer. All right. Technically, what may have been depicted in that porn short you watched was something called rape by deception. He got her to have sex with him under false pretenses. In this case, he allowed her to make assumptions about him that were not true. And when he realized that she had incorrectly assumed he was an administrator with the power to get her kid into this school, he didn't disabuse her of that false impression. He leveraged it to get into her pants, get sex. What she was doing, offering sex in exchange for a place in the school that would then deny that place in that school to other, perhaps more deserving kids who belonged in that school. What she was doing, this fictional person who does not actually exist was doing, was wrong. What he was doing was wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. But this is porn. Porn sometimes wants to present to us stories of transgression and people doing the wrong thing. It's not an after-school special designed to instruct latchkey kids on matters of ethics and etiquette. It's fucking porn. And what was portrayed in this porn was two shitty people. One shitty person trying to use another shitty person in a shitty way, and then that other person who sensed that they were being used, turning the tables and using the shitty person trying to use them in their own shitty fucking way. So someone trying to manipulate the system, oh, they got their come-uppance, C-U-M-uppance, and ha ha ha, that's the big reveal at the end of this porn short. Is it contributing to rape culture that there is porn out there where you see actors performing a scenario, a scene that would technically be rape by deception? You could make that argument, and people do, but it's fiction. I'm watching House of Dragons right now. God help me, I'm watching fucking House of Dragons, even though I'm so angry about the end of Game of Thrones. What is the point of a prequel to a show that falls apart at the, like, I don't get it. And there's a lot of terrible people doing terrible things in this fictional universe that I am watching, living vicariously through, experiencing some catharsis and enjoying. Is it wrong to portray shitty people doing shitty things? No, that's most of literature, film, television, fiction is shitty people doing shitty things to each other. We live vicariously through shitty people doing shitty things to each other sometimes because it allows us to release or have some outlet for the shitty people we are capable of being that we don't want to be. And so we watch somebody else, a fictional person, do something shitty and live vicariously through that shitty behavior and then return to our regular lives and try not to be as shitty as Cersei was, or as shitty as, and that's a really high bar, or as shitty as that woman or that janitor was. But yeah, shitty people doing shitty things. That's entertainment in porn too.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell your goodies all in one place, all to your liking. You can start a completely personalized website with their new guided design system called Squarespace Blueprint. You'll choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or your business and optimized for every device. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Make some money! Sell exclusive content to your site by adding a paywall to sell memberships or courses, or sell files your customers can download like PDFs, music, or ebooks. Make outreach automatic with email marketing tools that engage your community, drive sales, and simplify audience management. Introduce yourself to unlimited new subscribers with flexible email templates, then create custom segments to send targeted campaigns. Built-in analytics measure the impacts of every send. This is just a tiny taste of what Squarespace is offering you, if only you would take it. Head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/savage to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/savage and use the offer code SAVAGE.
Hi, Dan, Nancy, and the tech savvy at-risk youth. I'm in my late teens, and my question is about how to hide your sex toys. So I have very suspicious parents who love to peek around my room and find things I would prefer that they don't get into. I've tried to tell them that I would appreciate if they don't peek around, but it never really works. Should I just learn how to hide my shit better? I still have a year before I can legally get my own space. So, up until then, Dan, what should I do?
When your parents find your sex toys, are they confiscating them, or does it just kind of make you feel weird to know that your parents saw or handled your sex toys? That would make me feel weird. I think that's a perfectly legitimate feeling, and I think your parents should respect your privacy and stay the fuck out of your room. And if you're a year away from legally being able to get your own space, move out to the house that makes you 17 and change right now, you're entitled to privacy, and your sex toys are yours, and your parents should leave them alone and stay the fuck out of your room, just as I hope you leave your parents' sex toys, if they own any, alone and stay the fuck out of their room. But there's some part of your parents right now where they're still feeling like they need to go through your shit to make sure you're not doing something dangerous or illegal that would require the kind of parental intervention that legally right now until you're 18 they could bust out, but soon they won't be able to, and they should probably practice respecting your privacy and autonomy because it's coming in less than a year. Leave the sex toys you're making yourself come with right now alone. Should you hide them better? Well, yeah, obviously, if they keep finding them, you should hide them better. Maybe you should get some decoys. Maybe you get some sex toys that you don't like, don't use, and leave them in a more obvious spot. And once they find those sex toys, they'll stop digging and looking for others. And so you're less likely to get those parent cooties all over your sex toys because they won't have found or handled the ones that you actually use yourself. And man, I got to say, if you're 17 and you're contemplating being on your own and in your own space in less than a year, you can move out in less than a year. You're doing better than a lot of people your own age. Lots of people, lots of young people are now living with their parents into their late teens, early 20s, mid 20s because of the housing crisis and how expensive the rent is. The rent is too damn high and housing is scarce, and people are living with their parents into their young adulthood and sometimes just their period fucking adulthood. And that's not going to work if mom and dad can't respect the autonomy of their adult children who are living with them under the same roof and hopefully, as adult children, paying some fucking rent. And yeah, your parents should not be doing this. And if they can't help it, they can't stop themselves, they feel they have a right to do this until you turn 18. Yeah, in answer to your question, you need to do a better job of hiding your sex toys. Maybe don't hide them in your room. Hide them in some other spot in the house that your parents aren't searching because it's not your space. Great to get a call from a teenager. Always love to hear from the kids. Most of the people who are listening, or more of the people listening right now, are probably parents. Parents, leave your kids' fucking sex toys alone. One of the ways you teach your kids to respect other people's privacy is at a certain point respecting the privacy of your own child. Yes, you can turn that room upside down when they're 12 and you're worried that they might be using drugs. But when they're 17, their room is theirs. Stay the fuck out. Time management is one of the most important keys to success. If you're running a small business, you know that mailing can really eat away at time better spent doing other, more important things. Free up time consumed by tedious mailing and shipping tasks with Stamps.com. Stamps.com streamlines your postage needs, making your business more efficient and putting more life into your work-life balance. The Stamps.com mobile app can act as your 24/7 post office. All you need is a computer and a printer. They even send you a free scale. Easily schedule package pickups through your Stamps.com dashboard. Automatically see your cheapest and fastest shipping options from different carriers. For small businesses to multi-location organizations, Stamps.com handles all your mailing and shipping needs while reducing costs and increasing profit. And with Stamps.com, you can seamlessly connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart if you sell online. And you will get rates you can't find anywhere else like up to 89% off USPS and UPS. Order shipping and mailing supplies, labels, and even printers from the supply store when you run low. Put more life into your work-life balance. Put a thumb on the scale for life with Stamps.com. Sign up with the promo code SAVAGE for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code SAVAGE.
Hi, Dan. I am an early 30s cis woman who recently came out as gay after identifying as bi for a very long time. And while I'm more certain of myself and my identity than ever, I've realized that my libido and my interest in sex is absolutely non-existent. I suspect this has something to do with having tolerated sexual experiences with men that I didn't really enjoy for a very long time, even up to quite recently. And I've just sort of turned off this part of my brain that is interested in having any sex at all. So do you have any advice for how to get this back beyond just putting myself out there and having sex with people who aren't men? I feel like I don't really know how to put the vibes out or how to flirt or really any of it. And I'm this close to resigning myself to not having any sex at all. So please help me before I settle into this sexless life.
So you say that until very recently you were having sex you didn't enjoy with someone you weren't attracted to, with a man. Now you know you're a lesbian. You identified as bisexual. You were having sex with men until very recently, and that sex was unpleasant. Give it a little time. Give yourself some runway here, some space to recover, regroup. Look, you may be gray ace. You may be demisexual in addition to being a lesbian. You may be very slow to warm, or you may just be in a kind of hibernation right now where you just need to put yourself on the shelf for a minute and give it time and see if your libido doesn't kick back into gear. I would ask you, after 3 months, after 6 months, are you masturbating? Do you want to have sex? Do you miss sex? Do you miss intimacy? Is it sex you want in your life? Or is what you want in your life those things that come bundled with sex usually, or that sex precedes? Commitment, a relationship, intimacy, the security of a sexual and romantic relationship. It may be that what you want are all of those things that a relationship is about, but it's not sex you want, in which case you may be ace, but a lesbian. You may be, as some people are, not aromantic, but asexual or on the asexuality spectrum. I think that will reveal itself to you in good time. Right now, having sex most of your adult life with men that you weren't attracted to, sex that you had to grit your teeth and endure to get the things that came bundled with sex that you wanted, that the relationship, the intimacy, the connection, all those other things that, unfortunately, for people who are ace or on the asexuality spectrum, come bundled with sex, or sex has to come first before those things come. Yeah, that can kind of ruin it for a while. So maybe you just need a break, or maybe you're learning something about yourself and who you are and what it is you want. And if you are asexual or on the asexuality spectrum, or you're demisexual, there's a lot you can read on the internet about that. There are influencers out there pumping out content about those sexual orientations and identities every day. If in 3 months there's still no libido, you could lean into that, explore that a little bit, and your options around how, as somebody on the asexual spectrum, you find the relationship that it is that you want, or that you might want, without having to have the sex with anybody that you never really were that into. But who knows? Maybe now that you're giving yourself permission to have sex with women, your libido will take off. You've got to step outside your comfort zone. You may not be able to make these determinations about who you are, what you want, without putting yourself out there a little bit. In 3 months and 6 months, finding a woman you're into, going through the motions of having sex with a woman instead of going through the motions of having sex with a man, and seeing if that doesn't ignite some spark and revive your libido, giving lesbo sex a chance and lesbian relationships a chance after so many years of only having sex with men that you now know you were never romantically or sexually attracted to. So I don't think you need to make any decisions right now. I think you need to sit with it. I think you need to recover from the trauma of the relationship that you just got out of and the other relationships like it. And think on it and pray on it. And by pray on it, of course, I mean masturbate about it. Explore erotica, explore porn, explore self-pleasure, and then listen to your body and see what it's telling you you want or might need in your life. Now that you're out as a lesbian.
Hi, Dan. 36-year-old cis-het woman living in North Carolina. I have this thing that happens to me. So I've only had like 3 massages in my life. My first one was when I was 19, and I had an orgasm while the woman that was giving me the massage was massaging my calf muscle. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And it was just kind of like building up, and I stayed completely still and didn't make any noise. I think I like held my breath because I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. Like, why is this happening to me? And is she going to notice? And I have no sexual intentions or feelings towards this person whatsoever. But it was almost like it was so relaxing that it made that happen, if that makes sense. And I got a couple others later on in life, and the same thing has happened twice again. And I love to get a massage, but I'm just like, I feel like it's wrong because I'm not meaning to do that, but it's also like there's no consent happening, or they don't know it's happening. So it feels really weird. And I get massages as gifts a lot. I tried to do like research on Google about like, different scenarios, and on Reddit, about like what masseuses deal with. And my intention is not to do that, but it happens. And I'm just like, I guess maybe I should just stop getting massages. I was just wondering if like you had any input on it, or if anybody else deals with that and what they do. I've had massages by my partners, and that never happens. And I'm wondering if maybe it's because there's like an expectation of intimacy, whereas in the massage room, I can fully relax. So I don't know. Do I just not do that and just go on with my life? I just want to know what you think. Yeah.
I just read the most fascinating article at integrativehealthcare.org about people who climax during massage therapy sessions. All of the people that they write about in this article are men people. They talk about spontaneous or involuntary ejaculation during certain massage procedures, and that some men unintentionally experience this and are so upset and humiliated because they didn't intend to ejaculate and they didn't want to make the massage therapist uncomfortable that they never go back and get a massage ever again. And it can be difficult. The whole piece is about how a massage therapist parses or understands or figures out whether a guy who's coming and blowing loads during a massage without any erotic component of the massage is there for sexually motivated reasons. They knew that was going to happen. That's why they're getting the massage, or if it's unintentional. And it boils down to, as so much does, using your words, saying a thing. Some people during massage, during body work, have a physiological response. And the article that I just finished reading, so I'm kind of ranting about it, talks about in this relaxed state, as somebody leans into the massage, sinks into the massage, that they release a kind of tension, and then the pleasure, and it is a pleasure to be massaged in certain ways, ramps up and they ejaculate, or in your case, climax unintentionally. An experienced massage therapist has probably encountered this physiological response, unintentional arousal that's not about eroticism or desire. It's just the body, nerve endings functioning as they function and misfiring as they sometimes misfire, or being misdirected as sometimes physical touch and can misdirect, can be experienced by the body in this way that would appear to be sexual but isn't. It's just a physiological response. Say all that to your massage therapist. I imagine there's some part of it, since your boyfriend giving you a massage doesn't have the same effect. There's some part of it being a stranger touching your body that heightens your physiological arousal levels. Because there is something different about someone who touches our body all the time, touching our body, and somebody we've never met and is a stranger to us in a circumstance like that, touching our body. And it's working on you and your body and your central nervous system in a way that doesn't work on you when your boyfriend does it. And what are you going to do? Avoid massages for the rest of your life? Well, that is pretty much what I have done. I've had 1 or 2 massages in my life, not because I spontaneously ejaculated during a massage, just because I don't like strangers touching me, whether it's their job to touch me or not, whether I'm paying them to touch me or not. It actually, massage has the amazing ability to do the opposite of its intended effect with me, in that I got up from getting a massage and I was 1,000 times tenser than I was when I laid down for that massage. But for you, you relax into it and they make you come every single time when it's a stranger. So your options here are to never get a massage ever again, or disclose this to the person that's going to work on you, which you would only need to do if it was evident. You know, when a guy in a massage has a spontaneous climax, there's an ejaculation, there's a mess. When if you're climaxing, unless you're a squirter, how does that manifest? What are the tells? Can your massage therapist even perceive that you're climaxing, or is that just going on in your head? If they can't perceive it, I don't know if you need to disclose or discuss it, but if you're worried that they can, get out in front of it. Tell them that you have this physiological response. You're not there for the kinks or the jollies, but you've had massages in the past and unintentionally climaxed. And if the massage therapist isn't comfortable with you as a client, they'll tell you. But if they're very experienced, they've probably encountered this before. Most likely from dudes. Probably be delighted to provide you with the massage anyway, your condition having been fully disclosed and their consent having been obtained in advance.
Hey everybody, it's Nancy. I'm filling in for Dan while he's on a well-deserved vacation to read the listener comments on savage.love, a thriving community if ever there was one. For the woman in her 60s who worries she'll never find true love again, By Dan Fan responded to Dan's advice thusly. Why not be a mistress? Dan, because cheating is wrong. Because she's only setting herself up for more risk of getting caught and all the drama that brings by continuing the affair. Because she would be actively contributing to a grave harm being done to the wife. She did the right thing and exited with her dignity intact. If she doesn't find another great love, at least she has that. She should not rekindle this affair. Fuck's sake! Now, if they could just get the wife's buy-in, that would be another thing. But this man is not a king in an arranged marriage, and it is not expected that he will have a mistress upon whose issue he can bestow titles. You tell him, By Dan Fan. Jonathan says, whoa, hold on. The gay sex addiction caller who's been married for a decade says that his husband is out of control because his seeking of sex has moved from online to cruising a gym where a guy has approached him in the showers. This warrants 3 weekly Sex Addicts Anonymous meetings and a therapist. How much sex has the husband actually had? Like, caller, you can dump him if you want. It's fine, but good luck finding another gay guy who wants total monogamy for a decade. That's just not common. Thank you, Jonathan. And regarding the caller whose husband might be getting sucked into a cult, Michael says, when I hear someone talking about divine masculine and divine feminine and taking money for being a relationship coach, I immediately think of twin flames, and that is not a good thing. And Allison responded, agreed. I would suggest the caller search for the twin flame documentaries and get as far away from that coach as possible. Thanks, you two. A couple other people mentioned the twin flames connection, including one from a listener response call that you're about to hear.
Hey, Dan, this is a response to having Leo Herrera on. I thought the call was great, very interesting stuff, and certainly very exciting. But you mentioned a couple of times reference to cops raiding bars and cruising places as being a thing of the past, but I can tell you that is alive and well here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I know that there have been folks arrested cruising in our gyms, cruising at some of our outdoor locations, and they are really all over it these days here in the ultra conservative state of Nebraska. So just wanted to point that out to you, and thanks for all that you do.
Hey Dan, this is in response to the caller from episode 922 whose husband is falling for the dark masculine grift. To that caller, I'm in a long-term open relationship like you, and like your husband, I fell into that world for a period of time, so I know intimately of what you're going through and what he's falling for. Basically, anyone who does that sacred masculine, divine feminine, dark masculine stuff, it's all a goddamn grift. Be very, very wary, particularly when they start asking for money. The whole thing's a goddamn sham and a travesty, and I hope your husband comes to his senses and gets back to just having fun with poly rather than making it a whole fucking identity.
Hi, Dan. This is some feedback for the caller who is struggling with intense physiological feelings regarding her partner who is polyamorous going out with other people. I've recently grown into polyamory over the last few years, and I know these feelings she described as trauma responses really well. And I'm here to tell her that with hard work, therapy, and plenty of effort, you can come out on top of this physiological response. If polyamory is what you want in your heart and what you want in your mind, the body can absolutely be overcome. It's just not easy. I think people see, we see poly people that have, it's easy for them because it's more their orientation rather than their choice. And for those of us who have it as a choice, there's a lot of hard work to do, but you can absolutely make it. Good luck.
And we're going to leave it there. Oh boy, I get to do the outro too. To ask a question or leave a comment on the show, record it on your phone and email it to q@savage.love. Or call us up at 206-302-2064. From someplace quiet, please. And now the hump stuff. There is a whole lot of hump going on. You can get your discounted early bird tickets for Dan's Dirty, Dirty Film Festival Hump Part 2 right now. If you haven't seen Hump Part 1, you can stream it on demand. Check out the touring schedule, streaming options, and get tickets at humpfilmfest.com. Follow Dan on Instagram, Threads, and on Blue Sky at Dan Savage. And you can also follow him in that terrible place run by that awful man at Fake Dan Savage. Follow Andy Richter on Twitter at Andy Richter, and check out Andy Richter's podcast, The 3 Questions, and the Andy Richter Call-In Show on Sirius XM Satellite Radio. The Savage Lovecast is produced every week by me, Nancy Hartunian, and Dan and the tech-savvy at-risk youth, and we will all be back next week with a new Savage Lovecast. We appreciate you. Thank you for downloading.